Here's my audience. Got it. Okay. Hi everyone, I'm Kelly Buckner. Today we're going to take a dive into the first 7 seconds, or rather a look into the psychology behind first impressions. So we make snap judgments during our first impressions every day without realizing it. The truth is we think that we're being rational, but our brains decide almost instantly whether or not we trust someone. Today's goal, we're going to look at how fast this happens, why we evolved this way, and how we can use it to connect better with others. Based on research from Willis and Tordov, it takes exactly 1/10 of a second to judge a person's character. Our brains also instantly spot patterns and draw conclusions from tiny movements and observations. This is a process called thin slicing. A 2006 study from Elizabeth Phelps says that this judgment happens in the amygdala, which is the brain's emotional and threat response center. And this happens before we can even consciously register the other person's face. So very, very quickly. Why do we judge so fast? So for our ancestors, judging a stranger was literally life or death. According to Cuddy, it boils down to 2 questions that we ask ourselves, from warmth and competence. So warmth, what are the person's intentions? Is it friendly, hostile? And competence, can they actually carry out those intentions? So is this person capable or are they weak? A key point to note is that we always look for warmth first. Trust comes before talent. So we do all of this within a silent language, you could say. The body speaks first, so people read your posture and gestures before you finish a sentence, period. We also look at tone of voice, so that's how fast you speak, the pitch of your voice, that all decides how warm or authoritative you sound. We also take a look at micro expressions, which are the tiny facial movements that hint at your true mood. Now there is some science behind this as to why first impressions stick. It's called the primacy effect. So the first piece of information that we learn about someone carries the most weight. Whatever happens first colors how we see everything else that they do later on. Once our brain makes an initial judgment, it actively looks for proof that it was right. The brain hates to be wrong. So in doing so, we naturally ignore or explain away any behavior that contradicts our first impression. This is called confirmation bias. So with all of this information, you might be wondering, okay, so how can I put this into practice or be a little more mindful? For preparation, since impressions are instant, we must be intentional in high stakes moments. So that's interviews, pitches, networking, things like that. Then we can focus on warmth and then going into the details. So that's paying attention to eye contact, solid handshake, open posture, things like that. The goal is to build the trust first, and then the technical skills will come later. So ways that we can manage ourselves by doing this, we can avoid crossing our arms and watching our speaking pace so that we sound a little more steady. Connecting with our audience by making them feel safe before diving into data or hard facts. We can also be aware of our own snap judgments, so those first initial impressions, slowing down your thinking and challenging the first impression that you've made of others before you fully commit to it. That way you can give someone a genuine second chance. All of this isn't just a guess. It's backed up by neuroscience and lots of research, as you can see here. These are a few different people who have studies put out and books, things like that. From Gladwell's book Blink to Cuddy's warmth scale, we're wired for a split-second trust. Understanding the 7-second window helps you speak with more empathy, and confidence. And hopefully I was able to do a little bit of that for you today by giving you a better understanding of first impressions. Thank you.